Hello, today we are going to discuss the structure of human eye. As you all know that the structure of human eye is one of the most complicated parts of our body, and since human eye is the most important sense organ of our body. So if we consider the structure of the human eye, we can see that there is two basic categories of structure of the human eye. One is the eyeball, that is round-shaped structure, which is known as eyeball, and another is the accessory structures. The eyeball basically have some coats. The outer coat, which is divided into two parts. One is sclera, another is cornea. The middle layer, which has three parts: choroid, ciliary body, and iris. Later on, we'll see the diagram of the eye. You can understand it more clearly. And the inner eye is also known as the retina. Regarding the accessory structure, there are five important accessory structure of human eye, which are eyebrow, eyelids, eye muscles, conjunctiva, and tear glands. So these are all about the basic structure of human eye. Next, see the diagram of human eye, and we can understand the various structure diagrammatically with their respective functions. So here is the diagram of human eye. You see that the outer coat, this is the outer coat, which is sclera. This is the outer coat, which is sclera. This is the tough outer coat that protects the entire eyeball. This is the fibrous outer coat, which protects the entire eyeball, is known as sclera. The next layer, this sclera actually, the outer coat, the sclera is the sixth portion of the posterior outer coat of the eyeball. And this sclera, when it comes in front, it's anteriorly, this is known as cornea, which is transparent in nature. So cornea is the front portion of the eye, actually convex in shape and bulges outside. You see the structure bulges outside. Light enters the eye through the cornea. So the outer coat has two layers. One is sclera. This is the sixth portion of the posterior side, fibrous tough coat, and 1/6 portion of the front side or anterior side is known as cornea. Next we come to the next layer, which is the middle layer. The middle layer or choroid is the vascular layer. Here is the middle layer, the green color layer. This is vascular layer, which is known as choroid. It actually contains a abundant number of blood capillaries, which actually help to nourish the inner part of the eyes, and also it resists refraction of scattered light entering the eyeball. It also resists the refraction of scattered light entering inside the eyeball. So if we see the choroid, we can see there are two basic functions of choroid. One is it is supplies nourishment to the inner part of the eyeball, and secondly it protects reflection of scattered light entering the eyeball. This is the middle layer of the eye. Then comes the one thing, iris. Here you see the iris. This structure is known as the iris. This is the dark muscular structure. Here is the iris, dark muscular structure located just behind the cornea. Here is the cornea, located just behind it is the iris. It regulates the amount of light entering eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. It regulates the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. So these two are iris, dark muscular structure. Then we come to pupil. Pupil is this region. This is the pupil. This is the actually pupil. What is pupil? The pupil is a hole in the middle of the iris. You see, pupil is the hole actually, middle of the iris. Size of the pupil decreases or increases. Size of the pupil, it maybe decreases or increases depending upon the light entering the eye. Depending upon the light entering the eye. This is the pupil. Then we comes to the most important portion of the eye, which is lens. You see, this is the lens. This is the lens, biconvex in nature, made up of permanent transparent jelly-like substances held in position by the ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. These are ciliary muscles, and suspensory ligaments. These are the suspensory ligaments. So lens is biconvex in nature, transparent jelly-like substances made up of transparent jelly-like substances held in position by ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. The ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments adjust the focal length of the eye so that we can see distant and nearby objects clearly. This ciliary body and suspensory ligaments both actually adjust the focal length of the eye so that we can see distance and nearby objects clearly. So this is about the middle layer. Now we come to the next portion of the eye, which is aqueous humor. Here I have written it as A full stop H. This is aqueous humor. What is aqueous humor? It is a viscous liquid. Here, this portion, this hollow region, this is the viscous liquid filled in the area between the cornea and the lens. This space is filled by aqueous humor, which is viscous liquid substance. It prevents the eye from collapsing due to changes in the atmospheric pressure. It prevents the eye from collapsing due to changes in the atmospheric pressure. Also, it acts as the refractory medium of eye, which ensure the entry of light through the eyeball. This is aqueous humor. Then we come to the next portion of the eye, the inner coat of the eye, which is known as retina. This is the dotted line. This is the retina. This is retina. You see, this is retina. It is a delicate membrane having a large number of light-sensitive cells. This retina, delicate inner coat, their membrane, with a large number of photosensitive or light-sensitive cells. Basically, two types of light-sensitive cells are there. One is rod cell, another is cone cell. So, two types of cells, one is rod, one is cone cell. The rod cell actually responsible for absorption of dim light, low light, and cone cell is responsible for absorption of dark light and color. Dark light and color. And both the cells possess typical pigments. Rod cell contains rhodopsin. This is the pigment present in the rod cell, and cone cell iodopsin. Cone cell contain iodopsin. These are the pigments present in rod cells and cone cells. Actually, what happened? The light sensitive cells get activated upon illumination. These rod cells and cone cells, both are light sensitive cells, get illuminated or activated upon illumination and generate electrical signals. An inverted real image of the object is formed on retina. An inverted real image of the object is formed on the retina. The electrical signals generated by these cells, as I have mentioned, electrical signals generated by these cells are sent to the brain through the optic nerve. Here you see the optic nerves, and these optic nerves are responsible for conveying the electrical signals generated by photoreceptor cells to the brain. Then brain reassembles the signals into a meaningful image which gives rise to the sensation of vision. This Brain then reassembles the signals sent by rod and cone cell, the photoreceptor cells, through the optic nerve into a meaningful image, which give rise to the sensation of vision. We have some other parts of eye which is known as vitreous humor. This is the vitreous humor. This region is known as vitreous humor. It contains jelly-like substance or jelly-like substance filled in the space between the retina and the lens. It helps to maintain the shape of the eye, and it also acts as the refractory medium of the eye. Then we come a special region known as yellow spot. Here you see the yellow spot just opposite to the lens. This is known as yellow spot, just opposite to the lens. There exists a depression here in the yellow spot region. There exists a depression, something like that, which is known as macula densa. Cone cells are abundant in this region, and the real image or the image is basically formed in this region, found actually in this region, in this position. This is yellow spot just opposite to the lens. Image is actually formed in this region. Another region is there which is known as blind spot. You see the region which is blind spot. What is blind spot? The small region in the retina where the optic nerve emerges. You see, where the optic nerve emerges or enters the eye, you can say. Optic nerve enters the eye. This is the region. Insensitive to light. This region is absolutely insensitive to light, so no image is formed. Therefore, it is called blind spot. So these are all about different structure of human eye with their respective function. If we recap the structures, you see, as we have mentioned earlier, the outer structures, sclera and cornea, the middle structure, choroid, the inner structure, retina. We have some other structures like iris. This is the pupil. This is the lens. This is the ciliary body, and this is suspensory ligament. And we find aqueous humor, vitreous humor, and of course we find another part which is the outermost coating. It is actually the protective part of the eye is known as conjunctiva. We have mentioned this as accessory structures. This is conjunctiva. This is the structure and function of different parts of human eye. So now we switch over to how the image is formed, actually how the vision occurs in human eye. So in order to see, there must be light. As we know, without light we cannot see. If one is looking at the object, say this is the object, if one is looking at the object, light reflected from it, light reflects from the object, enters the eye. This we know, enters the eye. Then passes through cornea. This is through. Passes through cornea. Cornea, you can correlate, that is the outer coat, the anterior portion of the outer coat, which is cornea, the clear covering. Then from cornea, it passes through aqueous humor, clear watery fluid. Then it passes through iris. The colored part of the eye enters the pupil. The aperture known as pupil enters the pupil. The black dot in the middle of the eye. Light then goes through the lens. Lens focuses the light. Lens actually focuses the light. Then focused light passes through the clear jelly-like substance known as vitreous humor. Clear jelly-like jelly-like substance filled space known as vitreous humor. Then now the light reaches its final destination, the retina. Now the light reaches its final destination, that is the nervous coat or the inner coat of the eyeball, retina, which acts like a movie screen. Retina actually acts like a movie screen. Focused light is projected on it. Focused light is projected onto it, converted into electrochemical signals. This is converted into electrochemical signals and sent from the photoreceptors through the optic nerves. Sent from the photoreceptor cells through the optic nerves to the brain. Through the optic nerve, these signals reaches to the brain. Brain receives signals and interpreted, as we have mentioned, brain reassemble the signals or interpreted the signals, and then vision occurs. So this is the complicated pathway of how actually vision occurs. So we try to focus on different parts of human eye with their respective function and how we can see an object. So this is all about today. Next day. Till then. For testing your understanding of this lesson and more videos, log on to www.tubelessons.net.